ultimately, like any of these things, it's like, if you think it's too easy because you're using Strikerless, don't use it. Like, God.
Right.
I keep
Now,
joining these under-10s football leagues when I'm in my 30s, and it's just really easy. Maybe join a men's league.
It was in the playoffs final, by the way. You know, all those playoffs. I did lose this playoff final. That wasn't an opposition player that did that, by the way. It was the referee. Gave my player a 6-week injury in the playoff semi-final. So he just took him out. Are you into the football league yet, Tony?
My heck. No, of course not. Like, look, I've campaigned for years for Football Manager to be more realistic, right? And everyone who goes, I want Football Manager to be realistic, and I still want to be able to take Torquay to the Champions League final. Like, I want the game to be realistic, and I am Darlington, mid-table, National League North, 5 years in. Like, I've been in the playoffs once.
I'm going to be wanting things like that all the time. Obviously, if it makes the game better, I'm going to say, excuse me, I'm allergic to
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the FM Show. I'm of course your host Tony Jameson, and we are joined with a full house this evening. We have the one and only Maggio, we have RDF Tactics aka Aaron Falloon, and we have SecondYellowCard. Fellas, I hope you're well. The weather's a bit drizzly outside where I am. Aaron, you weren't around last week. We'll come to you first. How are you, my friend? Are you well?
Yeah, I'm good. You know, it's been a crazy football week. But for Southampton, I was watching. We played Leicester, and we was 3-0 down at halftime. I mean, we really shouldn't have been 3-0 down at halftime, but we brought it back to 4-3, and then I think the rest of the week after that was a bit of a blur. Blur. I think I've watched the highlights of that game about 3-4 times. It's a bit crazy, but yeah.
Well, For more context, wasn't it? And sorry, Leicester fans,
Sorry about that.
Wasn't it 3-0 Leicester after about 25 minutes, and then it was 3-1 Southampton, and then with 10 minutes to go, it was 4-3 Southampton.
They did that thing as well, Leicester, where like I don't know what it is with coaches. I'm like, just stop doing it. It's when you're like protecting the lead. But then you start making defensive changes. And you're like, when we made it 3-2, and then they made like a defensive change, I was like, we're bringing it back 3-3. Then we got to 3-3, and it was like, they're still defending. And I was like, what's going on? And I was like, yeah, 4-3 is very possible. And then thankfully it came. But it happened in the Premier League as well. I can't remember what game it was I was watching. As soon as they make that defensive change, it's like, you're conceding now. You're conceding.
Was it Chelsea Leeds? Because Chelsea were flying, and then Leeds, I think, pulled a couple of goals back, didn't they?
I can't remember which game it was.
But yeah, 96th minute winner for Southampton. So well done, Southampton. Sorry, Leicester, for bringing that back up. Si, you're shaking your head. You never want to really be too happy for a Southampton win, are you?
Well, unfortunately, Leicester got a points deduction, so it puts them below us. It might keep us up this season, that Southampton win. So it's... yeah, maybe blessing in disguise. Though you never want to see teams go down on a points deduction, having happened to us and Southampton, funnily enough, several times. So yeah, it's never a good way to go down. Looks like that's going to choose at least 2 of the 3 championship this year, or at least one of the 3 championship teams that go down. Likely a second one now as well.
Yeah. And in your world as well this week, all good?
All good. Yeah. Pompey didn't play. Match was called off, so.
So a cracking result for Portsmouth there then. We're unbeaten this week, are you? Yeah, we didn't play. Brilliant. Matt, how about yourself, pal?
Yeah, good. I heard a stat about that Southampton-Leicester thing. It was that the last time Leicester were 3-0 up against Southampton, they won 9-0.
Oh,
so times have changed.
Didn't they beat them twice? Was it someone beat them twice and the other team beat them once? Was it Liverpool or was it Leicester? Southampton had like 3 awful results in a row.
Okay, next subjects. Moving on. Why did I bring this up?
Literally, he started it.
Yeah,
it's when they got rid of Hasenhuttl. I mean, talking of getting rid of managers, what's going Managerial merry-go-round this week?
Wow, we're going to get to that, wasn't it? So should we do it in order, shall we? Like, so everyone's been sacked, basically.
Matt hasn't been sacked. You can introduce
apart
Matt
from
first.
us, we've kept our jobs, but everyone else in the Premier League has been fired, just about. Matt, do you want to walk us through some sort of timeline of football? It's bizarre. We're talking about football on a Football Manager podcast. I mean, to be fair, talking about Football Manager is rare enough, but actual football, let's go with it.
The nonsense usually bleeds into Football Manager, and then the Football Manager bleeds into football on a very rare occasion. So we're on hallowed ground here, listeners and viewers. So I guess what was the timeline of this week? There's been Thomas Frank was binned off. Then obviously Marinakis got rid of the 17th manager, I believe, that Forest have had this season.
I think so, yeah.
It's one per game on average, I believe. And I think they've now been linked with, there was Vitor Pereira, but then apparently they've also now been linked with Xabi Alonso.
Right. See, I'm not falling for this Xabi Alonso thing. I think that's one of those, like, Johnny in the nose on like Twitter who just basically comes up with all the things that aren't going to be true, you know, and goes,
from an account called Pie Sports Booze or something like that.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah,
I could see him at Spurs. Could you not see him at Spurs?
I think they're going with Robbie Keane, aren't they?
Not after the
I heard Harry Redknapp.
Harry Redknapp is apparently one of the ones.
As a caretaker.
Yeah.
You see Tim Sherwood throw himself in the hat as well.
Oh, yeah.
He was on Sky. I was like, I'll take the job. And then just went off in his first press.
If Tim Sherwood's throwing his hat in, I'll throw my hat in if we're going literally to people who aren't qualified for Premier League management jobs, right?
He did a good job somewhere, Sherwood. I don't remember who it was now.
Tottenham.
I think he's technically got the second highest wage.
Harry Kane. Everyone should thank him for Harry Kane.
Yeah, because nobody knew Harry Kane was good, did they? Like, at all.
Yeah. Well, apparently Tottenham were telling Sherwood that Kane's not good, and then Sherwood just basically proved the point, and then from there, just Kane never looks back.
Get Sherwood the Bayern job.
There was also De Zerbi also got sacked.
De Zerbi, yeah.
The Watford manager, I'm not sure if they had a podcast episode since, but Watford has also sacked another manager.
I mean, sometimes we have an episode during a Watford manager being sacked. So you can start on one manager, he's sacked, and there's another manager in. Again,
at any given moment, a Watford manager is being sacked somewhere in the world. That's
like it's that thing in it. Going, if a Watford manager's sacked and Sky Sports News don't report it, is it real? Yeah, it happens. So yeah, Forest are trying to be Watford. Tottenham going, yeah, do you know what? This Thomas Frank thing hasn't worked. Obviously, Chelsea have already got rid of their manager this year. Man United have got rid of their manager this year. It's been a bit of a merry-go-round. Of course, Farke at Leeds was under pressure before the start of the season. Now everything's fine there. Arne Slot's doing a great job at Liverpool. God, and do you know what, right? I was at that game yesterday, Sunderland Liverpool. What a fucking waste of time that was. Like, just it was dreadful. Like, it felt very much right. Like the Sunderland crowd were very much like going. We went in and we were fine for 5 minutes, and then we went about this unbeaten home record. Like, should we just try and protect that? And it was a bit like gave Liverpool a little bit too much respect. Because against Man City, it was like they were in their faces and like Man City didn't like it. And we gave Liverpool the ball. And to be fair, Liverpool had a great time with the ball because they couldn't hit the fucking target. Like, just gave them the ball, man, do whatever you want with it. Like, you know, Roof's made one save and they hit the post. A couple of beach balls got chucked on as well for good measure. Call back to previous beach ball goals. And then, and Van Dijk scored and Robbie was RKO'd and 619'd and, you know, put in the walls of Jericho and still no free kick or penalty ever going to be given to that guy.
He's a freak.
Genuinely,
if he starts scoring goals, he could be unstoppable.
That when your team is like Fulham played Manchester City on Wednesday as well, and I was just like, we all know what's going to happen. It's like watching a Terminator come along. You know it's going to kill you, and you're not going to do anything about it. Because I think Fulham and Marco Silva specifically have lost to Manchester City. Yes, always. 3-0 down at half time. We didn't get in the half for like 22 minutes. And it's just the most inevitable thing. It's death taxes on Fulham losing to Manchester City pretty much. And at half time, I'd be like, no, I'll stick it out. Because obviously we had that 5-4 at the Cottage. Thinking that's going to happen again. It's not. By, I think, 55 minutes, I turned over and watched the Sweden-Italy men's ice hockey at the Winter Olympics because that was more interesting, to be honest.
Yeah. I think Sunderland have got a very similar record. Like it's Arsenal and Liverpool are the teams that they've lost the most against, and who have they played back to back and lost to in succession. So lost to Arsenal, then lost to Liverpool. So yeah, that was disappointing. And it was very cold and very wet. But I did have a nice pie, so I suppose there is that.
Every cloud.
Every cloud. Shout out proper pies, by the way. The hairy biker, he makes them. Fancy a free case of beer? Of course you would. And our friends at Beer 52 are offering you just that with a free case of 8 outstanding beers. Go to beer52.com/FM and just cover the postage to get 8 incredible beers now. Beer 52 are the UK's #1 beer club. Every month, their beer experts visit a new city, region, or country and curate a case of brand new limited edition beers exclusively for their members to enjoy. And this isn't the sort of beer you're going to see in your supermarket every single weekend. Oh, no. Your case features an eclectic range of never-before tasted beers from the world's best independent breweries. So it means you can sit back, enjoy the football with a stunning selection of crisp, refreshing lagers, juicy pale ales, and smooth, creamy stouts.
Included is the spectacular IPA from Europe's highest rated brewery, Bassland. This hoppy pale offers a smooth and creamy mouthfeel alongside a restrained bitterness and powerful fruit flavours to deliver a jaw-droppingly brilliant session.
Also included is a hoppy lager from craft beer legends Omnipollo and a Weizen Doppelbock from Outlier Brewery. If you don't like dark beer, just choose the light case. And don't forget, you get a couple of tasty snacks too. You can also learn about all the fantastic breweries featured in this case with the award-winning Ferment magazine. If even after all that you're still unsatisfied, you can simply pause or cancel at any time. That's beer52.com/FM to claim your free case now. That's beer52.com/FM.
Back to the show.
Talking of very cold and very wet, they've reduced the amount of rain in Football Manager, which is kind of ironic how much it's rained in real life.
What a sec. I was a bit worried at first.
Talking of cold and wet,
we are passing this around the team, aren't we? We're doing good at this. You're right, Si. There's been a Football Manager data update patch. It's been announced, and yeah, let's go through. I've got the change list and patch notes in front of me, and you've stolen my thunder or rain in this moment. Rain has decreased. There you go, Si. Take it away. Talk to us about whether or not this was needed.
well, hasn't it rained every day in the UK since Christmas?
Yes, it has, yeah. Every day in 2026, apparently.
So statistically, actually, there should be more rain in Football Manager, really.
Maybe Football Manager's determining the weather in real life. And that's why it's
the weirdest thing they predicted.
Good word. Like the Simpsons predict the future and Football Manager score, it rains all the time.
No, you're right. Do you know what happened yesterday in my save? I was playing it was Manchester United v West Ham, right? And West Ham were winning 1-0, and Benjamin Sesko scored a late goal to equalise for Manchester United last night in my game. I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
And thinking, the graphics are well good now. This update's banging.
And I couldn't really see. There was this guy with a big afro in front of me, so it was a bit hard.
My God.
Do you know what? Like that's almost. He's almost getting to like a new gen haircut at this point, isn't he? That lad.
Off the top of the screen.
So weather has been reduced, and the actual wording lowered the frequency of rain in matches across all leagues. So that genuinely goes back to, it doesn't matter where you play, you are going to get rain constantly. But now lowering the frequency. It doesn't say to what level, but you know, that's where we are. So patch change notes. Various crash and stability fixes. Who had that on their list? Anybody? Yeah, tick this on your bingo list. Fixed a crash on hot seat mode after finishing the first match of the day. Right, brilliant.
The big one.
Fixed crash.
There's a lot of
screen.
fixes, Tony. There is a lot of
I know.
fixes.
We're going to go through them.
You really want to go through every
There
fix.
is nothing to talk about in the world of Football Manager. We now have a patch. We're going through every single thing.
Does this count as a content update? Does this count as a content update?
I think so.
I mean, pass maps. That's content, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pass maps is one, right? Defensive improvements against strikerless formations. Who wants to take this one? Aaron Falloon, tactics expert.
Well, I ain't played the game, but I want to keep my mouth closed on the tactics because I have been seeing some screenshots of. I don't know. Wingbacks apparently were OP, overpowered. So I guess one of the things in the patch notes as well was to sort of nerf them. But in doing that, they are now picking up the strangest positions on the football pitch. So, and Matt's nodding, so maybe he's played it and seen it. But yeah, I've seen some images and there was one image and it was like, it generally took me 5 minutes to work out who was attacking from left to right and vice versa. Because it was like, so the goalkeeper had the ball, that was evident. But then everyone was just bunched in the middle and there was just two guys on the wing. And it was one wing back and the other wing back or a full back. But only for one side. The other side's full backs were just in the middle of the pitch as well. And it was like, it took a long time to work out who was actually attacking from left to right here. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Not much praise on that update, to be honest. I haven't seen much praise online about it neither. Again, it's more so people pointing out the negativity, but I guess that's just the usual thing with FM26 now.
Still where we are, innit? Still where we are, like, you know. Matt, Strikerless.
I haven't used Strikerless this year. I haven't come up against it because the AI don't really play it. So this has not really been yeah, exactly. Plus I used it for my entire last Saver 24 and I wasn't about to get bogged down in that again. So I just haven't really got any thoughts on the Strikerless. I mean, from what I've heard, from what people have told me, it still works like crazy. You just don't score quite as many goals while you're in the process of demolishing people. So instead of scoring like 150 goals, you get like 110. So it's nerfed a little bit. But ultimately, like any of these things, it's like if you think it's too easy because you're using strikers, don't use it. Like, God,
right.
I keep joining these under 10s football leagues when I'm in my 30s, and it's just really easy. Maybe join a men's league. Like,
are you trying to apply logic, Matt? Logic don't live here, remember?
Dangerous.
I can only imagine that update being really useful for online modes where you're playing up against each other because, like what Matt said, it's like, if you think the game's too easy, then don't use it. And then typically you're not going to come up against the AI that are using it. So, I mean, why does it need to be left?
Well, this is a question then, and mentioning online before we get to some of the things that require logic. Mentioning the online, is this potentially with the FIFA E World Cup in mind, possibly, if that's going to be like an open call out? I think the initial talk was like that players could be represented from any club down to like amateur level. So like, are we thinking that therefore the amount of potential different formations that are potentially going to be in play, is that now one of those things where it's like, right, look for meta tactics and try and sort of like crunch it a little bit? Si, I don't know how you feel about that. Is that maybe something that is potentially on the horizon there?
Well, Matt and Aaron will know because when they took part in the regular World Cup, FIFA3 World Cup, FIFA3 Football Manager World Cup,
the World Cup, yeah.
They didn't go to the actual World Cup. Well, they went to the Football Manager one. So yeah, one of the problems was like for some of them, it was very easy. I can't remember which. Your save wasn't the easiest one. Which one was the easy? There was one of them that was ridiculously easy.
Brighton, right? I'm guessing.
Was it? No, Brighton was a hard. Was Brighton a hard easy one?
The only reason why I'm saying there is Sporting as well, but the only reason why I'm saying Brighton is purely because of the money. So I'm guessing after you get the season one, and then you've got your OP tactic, you're just literally buying whoever you want.
But I feel like Sporting, you were like guaranteed. Actually, your one as well. Like you pretty much had to win the league, right? And all
we had Dynamo. Yeah,
someone didn't, but yeah, the league was pretty much a foregone conclusion once we had even the basic tactic, and then could start leveraging money. It was basically our whole side of the draw came down to who could do the best in Europe, which obviously Aaron and I had that insane run to the Champions League final. Man.
And I think that's the difficulty with Dynamo is that obviously you're going to blitz the league, but you're never going to be or you're never supposed to be good enough in Europe. So some people will actually just struggle to get through the group stages of the Champions League. Obviously, with Sporting, you might have a little bit more money, whatever. But the Yokohama might have been the one you're talking about, actually, Si.
Was
But
it?
was
I just remember because
been.
they had the Asian Champions League, wouldn't they? Which
Yeah.
might have been a bit easier. I mean, that's sort of what I was thinking. Like, and if you've got they're already good Foot Manager players who know how to like make the most out of transfers, what players to go after, and it just makes it quite easy. And then you add in the fact that you could just load in a tactic like this, and then it's pretty much until you get to even if you did it in head-to-head in PvP, right? You took one of these strikerless tactics because the defenders don't know how to mark them, which used to be a problem in like FM22. Then it becomes a bit of a farce, like you're just watching players run unmarked. It's less about the tactics and more about finding the exploits in the match engine, I think.
See, because there's an interesting thing with that, what you're just saying there, Si. The patch notes say defensive improvements against strikerless formations. Okay, that makes complete sense. But 4 things down, improvements to marking of runs made from deep. So it's like, okay, cool, right. That's potentially how they're looking to put that in. So that's good. But then also the decisions from midfielders during pressing situations. So again, okay, cool. Are we looking to lock the whole thing down as we go along, which is fantastic. And then you've got this one, which I love. Aaron, you might like this actually. Improvements to how players react to shots that hit the post. As I'm sure we've all seen in our saves when they hit the post and all of our players have went, oh yeah.
Yeah, those are the things. But the things with the tactics, there's always going to be a system though, ain't there?
I think this year it was worse than normal though. Like some of the strikerless tactics. I think normally when you get like your nap tactics can get up to like a 60% win rate just on the default, like the testing. And some of the ones this year are up to a 70 to 80% win rate. Like I tested one of them with Wolves and they finished second in the league.
No, but I'm talking about in terms of like when you're up against each other. So like when you're competing each other, obviously in the World Cup setting, there's always going to be that tactic that people are striving for. Like it happened in the last World Cup, right? I think some people, there was 1 or 2 who were creative, and thank God they got far in it as well. But I mean, like even if you do look at the eventual winning system, it was like it is the 4-2-3-1 that people were using at home. That we all know is like if you want to win, use this sort of thing. So I guess it eventually won the World Cup as well last year at the FM24. So I'm guessing there's always going to be that system, but I don't know. I never saw the strikerless thing in place, so it's difficult to actually have a comment on it. And if it is true that people are just blitzing teams without even caring who's on the pitch, then it's difficult, yeah.
Is it now that you need 2 systems? So like you obviously now need your in possession, your out of possession. Like is that where when it comes to PvP?
I think this is where it's getting a bit, because I'm pretty sure what one reason why it's overpowered is not just because of the strikerless stuff, it's also you're just now able just to put everyone in defense, right? Because that's what it was. It was like a back 5, so it's like you're not going to break through it, but then it's just ridiculously OP as well in possession. So yeah, you have a point as well. There's going to be a way, someone's going to find a way to come up with a system because of now the in possession, out of possession, where like they're going to solve the in possession, like, right, we've got something overpowered. Now out of possession, we could just do something silly that you can't score, but we're going to have great chances of scoring, I guess. Would it be interesting to see the strikerless versus strikerless? That would have been interesting to see.
That's the thing. Because if you're both playing it, then it's like unstoppable force, immovable object type of situation, which is obviously if you're up against the AI, it's going to score 150 goals a season. But if the AI were also playing the same kind of strikerless meta tactics, I'd be curious to see what that would actually be like. And I think you'd probably have to wait and see for when these sort of tournaments start beginning or PvP stuff is becoming more of a thing, because that will be a very good indicator as to where those things are actually sitting right now, as to whether the game is even really fit for purpose on those kind of levels. And it does make you wonder if that's why this was pushed out now, as a kind of say, hey, look, this actually is going to be an esport at some point again, and maybe we can't have this level of meta-ness. I don't know. I tend not to really look at that kind of stuff a lot of the time because I just don't really get involved in those things. But I suppose in order to do the Club World Cup kind of stuff, you kind of have to, right?
I think that's the thing, isn't it? Like, you know, like you take it from a personal standpoint. Like I'm a bit like yourself, Matt. Like I don't look to the meta within the game. Like, I'm aware that there is a meta, of course, like everyone's aware there's a meta, but again, going back to your point earlier of like, you can choose not to be part of it. Absolutely. Which means, of course, you tell your own story, you play your own game, you do your own thing. And yes, you might win. Yes, you might struggle. You know what to do in order to make it right. When it comes to PvP, are we, and Sai used to run a lot of draft tournaments back in previous versions of FM, are we at the point where when it comes to draft tournaments and that sort of thing, that people just go, well, to hell with what I play, like offline, I'm playing PvP now. I have to now get the big tall player, the fast player, the meta tactic, because my opponent's going to be using that. So what's the point of me doing something interesting? I haven't got time to bed something interesting in, or to do a tactic that I've honed over a couple of seasons offline or in my own world. Like, is that still a thing? Do you reckon, Simon, again, you may have a bit more experience with that, like from the different types of players you've seen? I know Matt and Aaron obviously have dealt with it at that high level. But what are your thoughts?
I think it depends who you're playing with for a start. So, if you're just playing with your mates, you can almost have like a gentleman's agreement not to go in on meta tactics. I know it's happened in a few tournaments where, I think in the league, they ban set pieces in the league. Was it corners? Do you remember now?
Yeah. I think you had to have like default set piece instructions or something, or you had to like spam the hybrid creator thingy, and that was all you were stuck with at that point, which I thought was fair enough. Like, ultimately, stops you
still
doing
turned out
crazy.
to be overpowered. So I think it's like a case of, like I remember in the past we've had discussions about, should short throw-ins be allowed? Because at one point in one engine they were absolutely broken, right? Or it might have been long throws, because they would long throw it over the goalkeeper and it would count as a goal, which I don't think it would in real life. I don't know. But it was just interesting things like that, where it's a case of, okay, like, is this just going to utterly ruin the multiplayer experience? Like, where is the line? Is it like, okay, this is a meta tactic, or is it like, no, this just makes it completely unfun? No one's going to want to play it. Like, finding that balance is really, really tough. I always struggled with the draft, because I was like, sometimes people would come in and they've been working on some meta tactic, and they'd come in, and other people are just coming in for their first time and they want to have a bit of fun with their 5 at the back, 2 up top, target men, whatever tactic. And, then they would come out of match 7-0 and be completely devastated because they lost 7-0. So it's about finding, what's a balance of fun. But then for something like the World Cup one, it's got to be competitive, hasn't it? And I don't think you'd find immovable object versus unstoppable force. I think you'd find the opposite. I think you'd find matches go to like 9-10, ridiculous scorelines.
No defending, just vibes.
It's sort of why I'm proud of our run at the World Cup, though, because I don't feel... I mean, we did play Gegenpress, of course, but when we got to the knockout stages, like, our draft was like, we like this guy, vibes, pick him, sort of thing. It wasn't like, 6'7" striker. Our striker was tiny. And we did start off with like a big-ish striker, and each time we subbed him off for the smaller striker, this flipping smaller striker scored. It was like, why don't we just start this guy instead? But I guess for us, I think like we just needed to have that fun. We had fun the whole way through. It would have been so silly for us just to then flip it at that stage and be like, all right, just throw everything that we've done out the window and just sort of like, this is the meta, we're just going to stick to this. It was like we sort of knew the players that we wanted, but mate, if there was a 5-foot guy there with agility, 16, and he's good at dribbling, it's like, this guy could be fun to watch. Sort of just pick him, yeah.
First of all, like we'd already kind of won in a sense just by getting to that point.
Yeah.
So we obviously wanted to do really well for England and all that, but like you could see from like the pictures and the videos that when we actually won the group thing, that was like us winning it.
Relief, yeah,
exactly.
And after that, it was just whatever happens. Because at the end of the day, it's Football Manager, innit? Like, once you get into that draft mode, it's like...
Anything can happen really there.
Yeah, your expectations will only take you so far. I think it was one of the teams was like, planning, kick off 2 minutes, guy does a 2-foot challenge, sent off. What do you go
Can't
from
account
there?
for stupid.
Yeah, where do you go from there?
Yeah, a hidden attribute was in there. Yeah.
That happened to me. The worst. One of the first draft tournaments I did, the first match, it was against McKinn's actually, both when we first started streaming. He had Cristiano Ronaldo and I had Ataru Vidal. I'd won the first match. At the end of the first match, though, in the 96th minute, I had Messi. So Messi got injured in the 96th minute of the first match. Second leg, 2 minutes in, Ataru Vidal punched Ronaldo in the head. I've never seen another player punch anyone in the game since, but he punched Ronaldo in the head in the box, got a red card, gave away a penalty 1 minute in. That just set the tone for how that match was going to go. I was like, great. I was like 3-0 up in the first leg. I think I lost 4-3. I was like, typical.
I just think what the odds are on actually triggering that punch animation, because again, people might be going, "Oh, that's never." It is. I've seen it once as well in all my years of playing FM. I saw a guy punch a guy. It was a guy. One of my players got punched by someone else I had out on. Like, yeah, it's like an elbow thing, isn't it? It's such a rare animation, but I have seen it one time, and oh boy, is it fun! Unless it goes against you.
Oh, yes, which I had one very recently. I'll put it up on my TikTok this week if anyone's not seen it. It's just plugging myself there, sorry. My player is running with the ball, right? And this other person, who I'll tell you in a second, stuck their elbow out and knocked my player to the floor. Now, this was in the playoffs final, by the way. You know, all those playoffs. I did lose this playoff final. That wasn't an opposition player that did that, by the way. It was the referee. Gave my player a 6-week injury in the playoff semi-final. So he just took him out like that. I was like, what? And they played on. They nearly scored. The opposition nearly scored from it because the ball just runs away. My player's like writhing around on the floor because he's been knocked out by the referee. and it had the cheek of saying he got injured by overextending. I was like, he wasn't overextending for anything. He was running, dribbling freely with no one around him except the referee. He just went
the referee's elbow.
Sounds very much like the police. Like when he overextended his face towards my baton.
It's like that. It was ridiculous. It was like match fixing. I was like, at this point, the game's never going to let me get promoted.
It is true, though. The referees, they are like collisionable characters. Weirdly, again, I've only seen this once on my Uniada Madeira save. I had a clip from like 5 years ago. Player running through, just falls over the referee. Just falls over the referee out of nowhere.
Beautiful, amazing. I love that. We should have said, actually, sorry, as you're talking there about playoffs, we cut you very short last week when you were giving your save update.
I forgot I was in the middle of
we went off on so many tangents. So apologies. If there's any point now you want to continue to let us know where you're at with that, feel free. The floor is yours, because Matt and I may have hijacked that ever so slightly.
Well, I did eventually get promoted, 5th season of asking. So we did 3 playoff losses, and then we won. We didn't win the playoffs in the last one. We got promoted. So now I'm in the Premier League, and last night I finished my first season in the Premier League, and we finished 11th or 12th. So good season in the end. We were well away from the relegation spots. We were looking like we could have put together a bit of form and gone for a Europe spot near the end, but it was just sort of that mid-table mediocrity. So I'm happy with that. You know, I was a bit worried about the finances though. They're looking a little bit dire. We're in the big red. And I was like, okay, they're not going to give me any money for next season. But they gave me 40 million. And I've spotted a nice little left back who looks really, really good, who costs 40 million. So that's where the money's going. I've got quite a young team. So fingers crossed. That's the always thing. Like, I'm not too worried because I've got a young team. I can take my time over them, and in a couple of seasons they're all going to be they're going to be great. You build it over time. So even though you see that this year hasn't been quite as it's been a bit average, maybe you beat expectations but not as much as you'd want, that in a year or two's time either those players are going to leave for loads of money and you can buy in other players, or they're going to be ready for some big stuff. So that's where I'm at.
If we are quickly doing save updates, I do have one little update that I've been really waiting to share because it is mad.
Go for it.
We had something happen today that I've never seen before, and I've been building nation saves for maybe like 100 seasons worth of them now. Basically, I'm in season 5 in Poland. A Polish team has got to a European final before me.
Yeah. I was watching that stream earlier.
And it's not even the conference season. It's the Europa League final.
Oh, wow.
I've
step your game up.
Well, yeah, because you think, if we're the best team, whatever, we're in the Champions League, etc. It takes a couple of years. One of them will maybe do quite some decent stuff in the Conference League or something. No, both our Conference League teams didn't even make it to the knockouts this year. But Jagiellonia Białystok went, we're going all the way to the Europa League final. They knocked out Athletic Club, Rapid Wien. But there was another one in there too as well. It's absolutely mental. They went all the way there. So they're playing Club Brugge they could actually win the Europa League,
Yeah.
which is mad.
It's not a team you'd expect to get there either, is it? You'd think like Lech Poznan or Warsaw or Legia Warsaw or a team like that.
Well, in Poland, it could be anyone, right?
Especially right now, yeah.
Because I had that when we were in Greece, and I was wondering whether that was a thing that was just like a thing. I mean, but it was like AEK Athens got to a Europa League final, PAOK got to a Europa Conference, like Panathinaikos got to a conference final, and they were like just doing really, really well amongst themselves. Like Olympiacos, I don't think Olympiacos got anywhere because obviously they were always Champions League. And it was only like as Larissa was sort of like slowly getting up and about there that I think it must have been about 3 years in a row there was a Greek team in the European final. Like and then there was me being like, hello, like can we just like maybe get into the top 4 now? Like almost trying to like challenge for like it was great because it just meant that like our coefficient, that's how I was trying to understand the Build a Nation thing. The coefficient was just improving because Greece was doing really, really well. Like they were picking out my good players and just buying them for daft money, or players that I was scouting and like we went in for them and then like AEK or Olympiacos would overbid and they'd take them and do that way. And I was like, is this how it's meant to work?
Well, this is the thing. That's like the blue sky blueprint for it, if you like. But for me, it's always been a case of like, I take over, I get my team to be not semi-dominant. I'm always trying to build them as I go. But it's always a case of I'm usually, Champions League by this point because you can't really fall down that easily once you get to a certain level. And then it's hoping that I can build the loan farm enough that these guys can kind of hold their own in the usually the Conference League. So in Hungary, we did have quite a few Conference League winners and one Europa League winner and quite a few finals there. So I think we had 16 finals throughout the entire save in Hungary. But this is season 5. And I've never even got close to a European final yet. I was in the Europa League the previous season. We got knocked out in the first goddamn knockout round to Aberdeen. Yet here comes Jagiellonia Białystok. Show you how it's done. And frankly, against Club Brugge in the final, it's one of those games that could go either way. I mean, if they win a European final before me in this save and it's in season 5, I'll be fuming. But on the plus side, on the year, Poland are like number 5. On this overall season, we got like 17 points this year. England have got nearly 30, but that's just life. But I've never seen anything like that, basically. So I'm very excited. We're going to be watching the game on full highlights.
It does mean that they get auto place. They'll get an auto place.
If they
will
want
at
it,
least
they'll be in the
get
Champions League
one
too.
more place for one season, right? But it is in addition to your coefficient.
There's a weird like nuance to that, whereby if you win it, sometimes you will get that bonus thing, but sometimes what it does is it won't actually give you an extra spot overall. It'll like shuffle it around, and there is some weird permutation to it. I can't remember what the rules are because I had that happen to me once where I thought, oh yeah, we're going to get an extra team in Europe, but it didn't actually give us that. It just meant that the 5th team ended up further in or something. It's weird. I think it only works when you've got more teams in Europe. I don't know. Either way, if they win it.
Are they qualified anyway?
No, this is the thing, because obviously, as Aaron said, it's Poland and it has no idea what it's doing when it comes to Europe. So we pretty much have us and then 4 different teams. It's like a revolving cast, basically. It's Wisła, Krakow, and then 4 guest teams every single year in Europe, basically. So, yeah, it's... this year it's going to be a bit more stable because we've got Lechia, we've got Legia Warszawa, and we've got a team called Radomiak Radom who are going to be joining us in Europe this year. So that's fun. And then probably at this rate, Jagiellonia Białystok. But yeah, they kind of in and out. Every other year they're in Europe, basically.
Oh, sounds very, 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 very exciting. Very, yeah. I'm loving that. I'm loving it. It's stark contrast to my Darlington save where I've just hit the be shit button apparently. So I can't enjoy. I can't be happy for you, Matt. I'm sorry.
That's largely not the answer.
Are you into the football league yet, Tony?
My heck, no, of course not. Like, look, I've campaigned for years for Football Manager to be more realistic, right? And everyone who goes, I want Football Manager to be realistic, and I will still want to be able to take Torquay to the Champions League final. Like, I want the game to be realistic, and I am Darlington, mid-table, National League North, 5 years in. Like, I've been in the playoffs once. Like, I hate my life. Just like I've got what I wanted. Like literally, I've been ill for a week, including, as I was saying before we started recording, an evening worth of throwing up during the Super Bowl. And do you know what? Part of me has went, God, at least I don't have to stream this save for a couple of days. Like, that's where I've been.
Imagine.
And now the addition of pass maps is only there going, oh, look, Tony, look at where you gave the ball away. Now we can show you.
I admire it. There's a level of like masochism that's sort of involved. Imagine if you just play the same for the entirety of FM26. 27 comes out, you're in season 30, still in the National League North.
Mid-table.
I feel like the only way I'm getting out. I feel like the only way I'm getting out of National League North is relegation. Like the promotion is not an option. Like relegation is the only way out.
If you get relegated, what would you do? Would you start a new save?
I'd probably pick a new game or something. I'd be like, God, it's like the sweet release of death at that point. Thank God for that.
Nah, you cannot go to a new
Premier.
team.
Yeah, there's someone just went, should we just turn the machine off? Just like, yeah, go on, he's cost us a fortune here. That's what I'd be like.
He's in a persistent National League North state.
Yeah. It was for the best of everyone, you know what I mean? It's what he would have wanted.
His quality of life wasn't there.
Talking of picking a new game, I'm going to take us on a small tangent, but I don't think we spoke about this last week. I think we were going to, and then we never did.
Small tangent? We're still on the tangent from the patch notes.
The patch. Tony was about to read out a list of fixes. I read the patch notes and I was like, Tony, don't do it to us. Don't do it to us.
That the patch notes are not a tangent. That's what's meant to be talked about.
You just have to filter through the ones that don't say fix in them, and then you can find a couple
There is a couple of
ones.
bits in there that aren't even in the patch notes that are really kind of cool that we noticed earlier. But swing your thing first. No more tangents.
All right. So talking of other games, one thing. Did we talk about Football Academy Manager last week on the show? Did we talk about that post show?
Might have been off camera.
We spoke about some stuff on Patreon. Hey, plug for Patreon, by the way, if you want to hear what we talk about on Patreon, patreon.com/the FM Show pod. We talk about stuff that's not Football Manager and some little bits about
Much like the main show.
£3, £3, guys. £3.
So myself and Matt tried. Over the other, Aaron, have you tried Football Academy Manager?
No, but this sounds interesting.
And Tony, you haven't given it a go yet.
No.
You haven't tried it. Okay,
I'm still getting Tony emails.
I'm holding back on whether it sounds interesting yet or not. I'm not.
Right. Imagine
It sounds good. This is what I'm waiting for. It sounds good.
Imagine Football Manager, but you are not in charge of a club. You're in charge of an academy. So you don't have a team. You bring the player. You scout the players. You choose which players to go out and scout. You are a scout. You got to improve your scouting statistics. You bring in the players. This is like Aaron the game.
Can't see how Aaron finds this interesting.
So you choose which players to look at, and it gives you like Football Manager stats for them. I think there's only 6 stats or 7 stats. Actually, no, it's not. It's about 12 stats for every player, isn't there? There's not as many as.
It's a nice little smattering.
Yeah, and then, but obviously they still play for the.
I'm sorry.
They still play for the youth teams that they play for. But you get signed them under contract, and then they train at your academy, and then big clubs will come in and they'll be like, "We're looking for this player. We're looking for this kind of player." Now, I also found out when I was speaking last week, I hadn't actually managed to sell anyone because it takes a bit of time to go. We might not have spoke about it last week in the main show, but I hadn't managed to sell anyone in the first 2 hours of play. But I played a bit more, and I've now sold some players. So not only are there requests for play, a bit like Transfer Room in Football Manager. You basically have that. There'll be Milan Red, because they're not all unlicensed. There's Milan Red. Actually, there's a lot of Polish teams in there. Milan Red will come in and say, "Oh, we're looking for a left back who's at least this ability and with these skills." And then you'll look at your list of players, and you'll be like, "Well, this player mostly matches what they want," and you can offer it to them, and they'll go, "Yeah, we'll take him," or they'll go, "No, someone else offered us something better." But also, people will come in and just try to straight up buy your players. I found out, so they'll be like, "Hey, we see you've got a player, we want him," so you can make some money that way. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. There's there's a text match engine, text-based match engines. You can't actually watch the matches. There's no 3D match engine. And the text-based match engine goes very quick, and you don't really. It's kind of nice, flavor, but it doesn't really add it. You don't need it at all. There's practically no use to it. But yeah, I thought it was a fun little thing to just mess around, scouting the players, choosing who to scout, who to sign. You got to do mini contract negotiations. It's all very light compared to Football Manager. But just to take that little bit of a different approach was kind of fun.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. Is that PC or mobile game?
On PC.
Yeah, it's on Steam.
Yeah. How did you get on with it, Matt?
Yeah, so I had sort of a similar experience to you. I think my first session, I played a little bit more than you did just because I set myself the task of right, I'm going to play this for 3 hours. while I've got OBS open, record myself playing it, not because I want to make a video out of it, just because I wanted to be able to like summarize my thoughts later so I can get a concise like stream of consciousness my way through it. And a lot of the things I noticed in it is that it does feel a little bit like it takes too long to get to the gameplay. It feels like it takes too long to explain what a lot of the game mechanic loops are, like the thing where you didn't sell a player in your first 2 hours. It feels like at least at first you need to get like a taste of what that means, even if it doesn't come back for like another hour. Just like a quick one up front that says this is what this mechanic does, this is how you use it, but then you wouldn't be able to use it for a little while afterwards. I had a good time with it. It had some bugs and glitches, but obviously it would do because it was sort of early access stuff. I had a thing where after the first season, the teams would get promoted, but they wouldn't, and then they wouldn't get points in the wrong. It was all kind of all over the shop. But the actual concept is great because it is just you looking at youth players on other teams going, hey, would you like to join my academy? Get in my car, please. Terrifying as a prospect.
Probably why we didn't talk about it last week, given what half the things we didn't talk about last week. So
it's Trafficking Manager. It's not the sort of game, but it's got a decent gameplay loop. You know, you bring the players in, you develop them because you can train them. You find their, you scout them as well, and then you can discover like their types of potential. So some of them might have higher PA and CA, kind of. It's the way the game. You don't really know their potential is. You just sort of know how. Not much like an FM, really. You can see their overall though, but you can't see their potential. So you can just sort of tell they're going to be a little bit good, and then you can sell them on. Or it's got potential. I don't think it's got the huge amount of depth, but I think when we did discuss it, we were talking about how it was nice that games are taking elements of Football Manager related things and making entire sort of game projects out of those individual elements of things. I wouldn't be surprised if we see football physio coming along soon or something where you're just rubbing imaginary legs, but doing it well. That's VR.
That's a beautiful point because I watched the WFM show this week as well. So shout out, by the way, to our sibling podcast. If you've not checked them out, go and check them out. Wonderful, wonderful show. And if you like this, you'll love what they do. They were talking about that, and it was Katie was talking about that she feels a bit like I feel that there's just too much to do on Football Manager, and like some of the stuff is just like not your job. So I think the example that she gave was like, you're the football manager, why do you then decide whether or not the physio treats a player? Because like surely the physio decides whether the physio treats the player. Would you like this player to have their leg checked? Going, it's broken, isn't it? Going, yeah, fix it. That's a good idea. Like,
let me assess it first. The manager.
Yeah, like here I come with my no medical qualifications. Oh, is it meant to be backwards? Like,
Dr. Nick Riviera, basically.
Hey everybody, and like the transfer room as well. Like going like, oh, I want a player like this, blah blah blah, and it's just going like, isn't that the director of football's job to do that rather than you do it? They should just be going, I want this player. And then they go, how about these guys? Like, so I feel as like Football Manager is very much this is the most realistic football game that you could possibly have, rather than managers do very little these days. Can I have that game, please? Where I just sitting and like going, all I want to do on a new game, if I was to pick another Football Manager game, is I want to just pause with a photograph of a new sign and be like, hey, like,
with the signage holding the pen upside down.
Yeah, a little bit. Actually, do you know what? I don't even want that. I want a game about space. There, I've changed my mind completely. I don't even want a football. I want a space game.
Tony just wants EVE Online.
I guess with FM, right? Like you can just strip it down. In my head, this is again more baffling to why they've removed FM Touch. Like, remember, you'd be able to get the full fat version plus FM Touch, and that was it, right? Like, you just play FM Touch if you just want to have a quick manager game. You don't care about eligibility, registration rules, like none of that nonsense. I just want to buy players, play the game, have fun. That's it. And then you've got the full version where you can just do whatever you want to do. But within that full version, you are still able to set settings for your staff responsibilities and whatever. To just press like, you do that, you do that, you do that, and I'm just going to be just the manager. But I think the way that even just setting that up, it's a bit just very clicky. Like, that should just be set, if that makes sense, rather than... I feel like you have this feeling when you go into the game and you do that, you're no longer a manager. I think that's like the feeling that you're taking away power from me, and I don't think players like that. Like, even myself, like logistically, I was just rather just my director of football just to do the signings. But there's something like I just don't want to go to that setting and press it because it just does not feel right. And yeah, so I guess that it's in the game, but for us managers, it just doesn't feel right to use. Because maybe the game's just not even set up that way. It's set up for you just to do it, and this is an option.
I don't know.
yeah.
It's
About making
really
the
nice
game
time
fun,
with that.
right?
Yeah.
And
Like,
it kind of is when you let the DOF do it, sort of. Like, but I did it deliberately with a really bad one just to see how incompetent he would be. The answer is quite. It's one of those things where I got promoted to the championship with Plymouth, and our goalkeeper won the Golden Glove, was like player of the season, this guy called Connor Hazard. So my director of football, with our £3 million transfer budget, goes, that's a nice goalkeeper that Dortmund's B team have got there. Be a shame if I purchased him for £700,000, even though we have a perfectly good goalkeeper, and then spent the rest of the budget on a lone guy from Portugal who's also a goalkeeper. So now I have 3 goalkeepers, and yeah, that's what that's the experience you're going to get.
I've mentioned this before. I'm pretty sure this is how the director of football used to be in like FM24, FM23. Is like they're like, I want a striker. So the second one is like they just forget in their head that they've got one. So like, I need a striker. So the bring one is like, I need a striker. It just is so weird.
It's the Chelsea model of football, right?
Yeah, it's just like something like they've tasked to buy a striker, and then it just becomes so fixated on just buying that. Yeah,
It's like they've got it's like having your director of football be Drew Barrymore's character from 50 First Dates, basically. Every morning she wakes up and goes, I need a striker, and then you get a striker. It's fantastic.
You're going to have to give him a pre-recorded video. Spoilers for 50 First Dates if anyone's not seen that.
VHS for your DOF.
Yeah.
Well, it's striker search again.
yeah, literally. But yeah, I haven't. Again, it's something that I haven't tried in L26, but hopefully it's a lot better. The logic between the
Yeah. So that Football Academy Manager, by the way, is early access. Matt, there's been an update today that's added some stuff already. In fact, there was already some stuff when I played it again last week that had been added from the time before. The full release isn't until like September.
Wow,
Actually, I don't know if it's September. I've made that up. It says quarter 4, 2026. Quarter 4, 2026, which is from September, right?
Quarter 4, that's...
Yeah. Quarter to 4.
Ages ago.
Yeah. The Q4 2026. So it's a while away from full release, but I mean you can just go and play it. It's on Steam and everything. It's just an early access game. But I think Aaron and Tony, you'd probably both have a good time with. Like, did you play Kevin Tom's Foot Manager or any of those other ones?
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
So if you like if you're okay with like the simple loop of like, you know, just a small, what's it called? A monkey grinder? Is that what it's called? A monkey
I don't
grinder
know.
machine.
You're not allowed in the zoo,
I
are you?
made that up. That might be something. That might be. I'm gonna have to look it up.
That's my name for it. Like,
I'm gonna have to make sure I've not said something inappropriate.
That's
now.
what I'm thinking. All the black
Monkey
people
and the
watching
organ
that.
grinder. Monkey and the organ grinder is the expression.
Okay,
So
okay.
it's a street performer who performs a crank operated street organ, historically accompanied by a trained monkey. There you go, who collects money. Basically, the idea is that I don't know why that's the expression for this kind of game, like this kind of thing. But essentially, you just keep turning the crank, and things get better and better and better and better. Like, and it just takes a slow process over time. So I think it's like, you know, and you just make small increments every time. I think it's kind of fun to check out. So yeah, if you want a little distraction from Foot Manager 26, Football Academy Manager.
Got some positive reviews at the moment on Steam as well.
Yeah, a lot of potential. You know, it's not like don't go in expecting, like, if you go in with some of the expectations some people had for FM, like you're going to be disappointed. But if you go in expecting like, okay, this is going to be different, like it's a 1-man team or a 2-man team. I think it's a 1-man team, you know, a 1-man team game. Then yeah, because I saw that with the Basketball Manager game, which I also tried. You know, it's pretty good, but I think it's like a 2 or 3-man team. You know, like you compare that to Football Manager, they've done a pretty good job. But some people go in and saying, "Oh, this has got nothing on Football Manager." Well, of course it doesn't. It's like a much smaller budget game with a much smaller, you know, team behind it.
It's like the weapons manufacturer that produces a tank versus what I can 3D print in my shed. Well, yes, like obviously, me and Raytheon have very different budgets.
Do you ever used to play, like, obviously EA always made FIFA, right? And there was Pro Evo. But like sometimes you would get video games for other sports. So actually EA did do a rugby one for a while, but there'd be like cricket ones or like, you know, but like sometimes you'd also get ones for like obscure sports. There'd be like a hurling game or like a Aussie rules football game. But because the player base is so niche for those games, like they're not going to be big budget games. So they just don't stand up in
Those
comparison
were
to
often like the
FIFA.
most fun games though. I can't
they
remember.
often were quite
What was
fun.
the snooker game?
Oh,
what's the guy's name, man? The snooker player.
Stephen
White.
think it's
White
White.
is-
Jimmy White. Oh
Jimmy
my
White.
days. I
Code
was
Masters.
hooked. Yes, Code
Was it?
Masters. Yes.
Yeah.
Code Masters
Yes.
was banging back in the day. Oh my
They knew how to
god.
make games, right?
Yeah, the rally game as well. I was
Yeah.
addicted
That's
to
Colin
those
McRae.
games.
Colin
I knew
McRae.
nothing about Colin McRae. I knew nothing about those games. Built me into like I know them because of those games, but those
They
games were
did Brian
literally
Lara
Olympics
cricket
games.
as well.
Brian Lara
Brian Lara
cricket.
cricket
I
was
can't stand
brilliant.
cricket,
I
but
love-
give me the game. Oh,
We
they made the
played that with
mechanics fun.
yeah, they made the
bunch of
mechanics fun. Yeah.
comedians.
The-
We played Brian Lara's cricket with a bunch of comedians during the Edinburgh Fringe Festival once. We took the Xbox up and just like whenever all the madness was going on, we're like, do you want to just come to ours and just play cricket for a little bit? That was our chill out game. Was brilliant.
the
those
Athens
games.
2004 Olympics game.
I was
Because
just about
they
to say
had to
the
have
Olympics.
so many sports. in
Yeah,
it. And they're always like,
honestly,
My fingers still
I
ache from the
love
flipping.
those.
yeah.
Love those games. Button
That's
bashing.
interesting.
Everyone's
Track and
new
field.
ways on the button.
And again, for the visual viewers, Aaron also showing many techniques that don't always involve button bashing.
This is where the pro strats.
This is recorded 2 days before Valentine's Day, so just
The Olympics game that really got heated
Pole
in the house, man. That got heated.
oh, and then they had the Winter Olympics ones as well. So you had like the bobsleigh and the luge.
Yeah, yeah.
And the two-man skeleton bob. Now, how do you find out you're good at
Which I
that?
thought was a haircut.
Well, the two-man. For the conjoined
There
Oh,
was
two-man
always
skeleton
one of
bob,
those.
please.
Like, was there always one of the in those games, particularly the Winter Olympic ones? I feel like there was always one sport in there that was like almost impossible to actually play and
Oh, yeah,
control.
because they'd never tested it, had they? It'd be like
Yeah,
a synchronized swimming dance championship. And
Yeah.
you would have to, I don't know, have some like VR camera thing. You had to stay in some kind of crazy
Yeah.
mechanic that they just
Or
left
try
to the
and
intern.
meet these things with an analog stick and yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be like
Yeah.
impossible to do or perfect
Yeah.
timing on them.
But there was
Oh,
always
the
like
AI would
3 or
always be
4 modes.
perfect.
Yeah, there was always like 3 or 4 modes that just absolutely saved the game.
Yeah, it'd be like on the Olympics game, it'd be like sort of the dancing on the floor with like the ribbon and stuff.
Yeah.
You're going, how the
Just
fuck
quick
am I meant to do
action.
this on the control thing? And it's like, oh, 0. Like, no, of course, yeah.
Playing on mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
I think it would be something like the triple jump where you'd have to like press the buttons perfectly in order.
Yeah.
But because you can see where the line was coming, you'd be like, how am I going to time this on time ready for the line?
And unless you've
then
purchased the
manage it.
special controller that comes with the game that is like, I don't know, like one of those Barbie games with the genie bottle or something, but it's like a pole vault
yeah.
stick that you get. And there was only 6 of them at the actual warehouse. So you've just got the pole vaultless version of the game, which is impossible to do without the giant peripheral.
I remember one game, and I don't know whether I'm remembering this incorrectly, so apologies if I have, but I remember there was an Olympics game where traditionally, of course, you would do your running would be like button bash, button bash, button bash, button bash, and that would be the sprinting. And then the same with the hurdles and the same with like, long jump. So they're very button, 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 button. But I'm convinced, and I could be wrong, but they had the indoor cycling. And instead of button, 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 you had to spin the 2 controllers going, I don't get what I'm doing. Like, why? And just like everyone else went spinning off, and there's me just going like, I think you've got my stabilizers on, and like I then fall off, and I'm like, how have I fallen off? Like I'm not just.
You're just there at the back with 2 shake weights. Like,
Yeah, that's what Fulham and Sunderland should do.
Doing mini games.
what is how you access the shouts? You have to do gestures.
To actually shout.
Like Mr. Burns on The Simpsons with the baseball
There is
team.
You have to plug your
there
mic
is a
in.
shouts update. There is a shouts update.
They've got little logos
in the
now.
game. Whoa, it's annoyed me. And I forgot to, I put a video about the patch and I forgot to mention it. I said, I'm going to mention this thing and I forgot to mention it. So they've added little logos next to each of the shouts, right? Mm-hmm. And there's also logos for everything else along the top bar of the match day screen. But there's no logo for shouts. Which is like, so they've got logos for everything in the shouts drop down and they've got logos for everything in the shouts, the same row as shouts,
whatever.
but just not shouts. I was like, come on, just
Banner
make a
icons.
shout logo. Make a shout icon, yeah.
It's an interesting design choice because it's like, I mean, we already knew where they were. Surely this was not a pressing matter. It's like, but we've got a little smiley face next to it now.
But
so
first
when
you
you're
did one
encouraging them-
shouts in, and now you're all doing little funky designs for it.
next
I
time when
wonder-
you press the
it's probably
shouts,
an easy
emojis will
thing.
go all over the screen.
No,
if
I
it
don't
was-
have no easy things because talk about resources. Could have used that resource somewhere else.
But I wonder if A, it was easy, and B, if it's like a language thing to help
Yeah, it's
with
probably,
like the
yeah,
languages and
Yeah,
stuff.
that's probably it. Honestly, it's the same reason that like the role changes with the names and stuff makes way more sense because then it can be localized for language translations. And I'm actually still totally fine with that, particularly if they do build onto that system. But yeah, it's still an odd. I mean, to be fair, it wasn't like they made a huge deal of it in the patch notes, did they? It was one of those things that was just sort of there, much like the biggest thing I noticed, which was that you can now save and load scouting filters. Finally, it's back.
I need to learn. They need to flip and be able to save and load the. What's the thing at the beginning of the game? It's not the actual save game. It's the database. That's it. Yeah,
Yeah, you can do that. You've always been able to do that.
Yeah, I think you can.
You can. I have ones people download. That's the thing. It's a bit glitchy,
so
but it does
there's two
work.
different versions. So there's two different ones, right? There's like the one where you're just doing. So like when you're selecting just where you want to load the players from, you could save that, but you could also save the. You can't do that.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
You can't do what you could do one, but you can't do the other. In FM24, you can have like a game database, so that I can save this everything, so the player count and all the leagues loaded. But you could also just do the player count.
I didn't know you could save the leagues loaded thing in 24 because it does that in 26, almost to an annoying level.
I'm gonna have to find out the exact terms for it. And I know it's not there because FM24 has 2 folders for it, whilst FM26 doesn't.
Wow.
I'll
I
find
might be about to discover something there because I've never heard.
So there's
of this.
DB game setup and there's DB setups. There we are, database setups and game setups. So I think you're allowed to talk about game setups and I'm talking about database setups.
DB setups. I've
Game
never heard
setups
of
will
that.
save everything, right? Your nations loaded and the additional. But before you could just do the additional, yeah.
Which databases you want loaded in?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it ever did. It might have done. I thought you just had to manually select them. It just remembered the last ones you selected.
No, so now when I load my game database, it's got like all the nations and all the players when sometimes I don't want the nations loaded. So then every time I do that, I have to single-handedly remove the nations. So if I just want to start a quick game, I want my player database, but I don't want all the leagues that are loaded in that thing. I have to then manually do it. Whereas in FM24, I could just use the load database and that's it. So for example, I could just have England selected as the league playable, but then in the added database thing, I could just load like all players from Italy, Germany, whatever it is, and I could just load that bit. It's something again. It's one of those niche things that only probably looks like only I've used it.
It might just be you.
Yeah.
The only player in the
never
world.
come across
Yeah,
that. I mean,
I've never even seen that folder before.
But also when you're doing your tactics, you could save your team. You could clear the subs. You could do all of that now. Annoyingly, you can't create your own restrictions. And that really bugs me.
That is very annoying. I don't know why
That is
either.
bugging me.
I have a Strikerless update
Uh-oh.
for you.
They're back.
So, I tested the nap tactic with Wolves a couple of weeks back, you know, before Christmas, when it was coming out that these were like quite powerful. And Wolves finished second in the league. Arsenal won the league across the whole season. While we've been live, I've just run that tactic again in the same simulation, same way. I didn't change the team with Wolves or anything. We didn't finish second, so it wasn't quite as good. We finished fourth still. No changes whatsoever. Semi-final of the Carabao Cup, semi-final of the FA Cup, lost to Liverpool in both of them. So yeah, Liverpool won the league as well. So we got 65 points with Wolves, 17 wins, 14 draws, 7 losses. It suggests that maybe it's not quite as fixed as now. That is simulating rather than playing the matches, but I don't think it should still make that much of it. Considering I'm not actually playing as Wolves, doing any transfers or anything, just plugging and playing that tactic.
So it sounds like it's got slightly not as good, but still quite really good to the point where if you used it, you wouldn't care because it would still make you very, very good indeed.
So instead of automatic qualification for the Champions League, you might have to do the third qualifying round.
I've qualified for Champions League.
What a rubbish! What a step back that is, isn't it? Going like, look, you're not going to qualify straight away, right? Just let you know, you will have to play against a team from Latvia at some point. Is that all right? Like,
it's a bit like Daddy's got you into Oxford, but before you would have gone straight in. Now you've got to do an interview.
Yeah. You've got to make your own way there. Like,
This
In your
is
bedroom.
an imperfect test. It could be a complete fluke, but I don't know. It doesn't feel like it. It feels like I was watching the results come in and stuff, and I was like, okay, no. Like there were a lot of big scores against teams, and
what I heard, it basically just means that you don't score as much. Do you have a comparison of the number of goals scored between the two? Because apparently it just reduces
because
that
you said you only lost 7, but you drew 14, so it seemed, or drew 11, so it seems like you're just drawing more.
I did draw a lot. So goals scored 61, goals conceded 40, and that's in the league. Let me just check, see if I've got the other one, which will be
live save archaeology.
I know, yeah.
Interesting to see if the opposition tactics changed since the update.
It might be.
Mm-hmm. They would have probably changed a little bit just because they're going to react differently, aren't they?
Yeah, they would have made changes and stuff. Like Liverpool won this time, Arsenal won last time.
It's one of these things where I try to do like 5 sims if I'm going to test it. Obviously, you're not one planning to do this test, of course, but that's whenever I am testing stuff, I try to do 5 because it's still not going to be enough to get proper data, but at least you can get some kind of account for outliers, I suppose.
Yeah. So something interesting. If I'd have in the save that I did before, 67 points would have only got me 7th. Brentford are on 61 in 7th.
Points.
Yeah, Liverpool got 71 points in 6th in the other save. Whereas in the new one, 67 points was good enough to get me 4th, and I was quite a few points clear as well. In that one, I scored 89 and conceded 44, so I did score way more goals in the league at that time. And I only drew 6. I lost 6. So I lost less this time. No, I lost one more, didn't I? I lost one more.
It's one more, but it's
the draws. A lot of draws.
Draws. But it sounds like the attacking may be nerfed, but whatever it's doing out of possession, it's still pretty much.
Still not conceding a lot, is it?
Yeah, it's still pretty much solid.
It's like you'll win more realistically, kind of. You're not going to win 6-0 constantly. You'll win 3-2, 2-1 kind of thing. It won't be so obvious that it's really overpowered, I suppose, is what I mean. You'll get be like, oh, I should beat Spurs away. Now it's not really an achievement, is it? You've just got to win. Sorry.
Look at that little tear from Aaron's face where Arsenal didn't win the league on size simulation has been wiped out with, oh, look, Tottenham lost.
Yeah. I was upset when you said Liverpool won it.
Spurs finished 3rd in this version. The one that
they also
Arsenal
played Strikerless.
Yeah, they did. So they only scored 65. No, theirs is more like what we scored. They scored 65 and conceded 36. Whereas Arsenal who won the league scored 92 and conceded 36. So Arsenal had a really good rate in that. But
thank you.
It's interestingly, Chelsea and Spurs had the same goals for and against, but they didn't finish on the same points. So yeah, that's maybe it's not as nerfed as people worried about their tactics just falling apart with this update. Maybe don't be quite so worried.
That's the thing I'm loving about this game because of the constant matches and updates, which are way more than normal. I get to be like, my tactic might be broken again. I can't wait to spend hours tweaking it like a big nerd.
That's
it's
an
fantastic.
interesting point, though. So just say you're just a normal guy, right? You're not aware of OB tactics, blah blah blah, but like just your idea of football, you've created a system. It works really well in Football Manager. Like you're not aware of this OP stuff. Like you're probably not even on X. Football Manager has an update. You go to open the game, and now you can't buy a win. Like, do you feel you should suffer from that? Like that wasn't initially your problem. Now you're thinking the game's bad. Like before the game was good because you're obviously winning. Now the game's bad because my left back is not even attacking anymore.
That's a comment that you see quite a lot after any patch or any update. Is like, right, now I've got to relearn the game again. Thanks for that. And I'm in the middle of a season or in the middle of a save, and then about get. And because of the regularity of updates that have come out, it feels like it's every few weeks you're like having to give up on whatever you've done and try something new. And like, I don't know whether that's why some people are feeling a bit detached from their saves or like sort of like just going, oh, do you know what? Like I'll just come back next year. Like, and I don't know if that's maybe part of it going like, for all SI's intention is to fix the problems as quickly as they can. It's almost like because they're doing it as quickly as they can, that you're in that situation going, oh, cool, that works now. 3 weeks later, it don't work. Like my whole, oh God. And I think
you're not hurting anyone. So let's say you're one of those people who like, can't quite get into the game. You stumbled across the Strikerless, and now it's actually like, I'm quite having fun with this. And then it's like, okay, you can't play the system anymore. And it's like, I'm just coming back next year. I'll try next year, sort of thing.
Yeah, you're right. Because like for the general consumer of the game, that they're not going to, because if it does change, then as you say, they have to read all that stuff that there's a limited amount of time they have to play the game, and they don't really want to spend that always be having to constantly sort of keep up with the Joneses. And in this case, the Joneses is the tactical match engine, right? I think maybe my response to it is very different just because I'm in a weird position with that where I can find that fun, but I'm in a very privileged position to be able to find that sort of thing fun and entertaining because if it changes, it means I get to do weird stuff with it. But I'm doing that for a job. That's the difference, I suppose, where as someone who's just playing the game in a sort of general consumer type way isn't going to be wanting things like that all the time. Obviously, if it makes the game better, I'm going to... Excuse me. I'm allergic to tactical changes. Forgive me.
I'm literally allergic to change, man.
I love how you didn't even have a break as well. Like, you was talking right up to the sneeze.
Optimization is key.
Because of how quick Matt talks. Because of how quick Matt talks, I didn't realise he was ready for a sneeze. But it's just, actually, he is going to talk a little bit quicker now.
I saw it in his face, but I thought he was like coming up with a joke or something. Like, I saw it changing.
Audio listeners, terribly sorry. Everyone on YouTube, you might have seen that comment.
I need to dust my mic, I think. Those comments were right.
But you've also got to consider as well, and here's a thought as well, like, okay, you say there that there's some people, consumers of the product or players of the game, who won't be aware of us, they won't be aware of content, they won't be aware of anything like that, because they won't even be aware that there's patches and updates. Like, they will just literally, they will play the vanilla version, oblivious to everything, and they'll go, right, okay, game's too easy, or I couldn't get into it. Like, they won't be aware that the game has changed since the day that it was bought. Same as anybody who uses technology, like, like I'm thinking, like, my parents haven't got a clue about phone updates, for example. Like, they won't know that software updates happen or whatever. Because we're in, as Matt says, because we're in the industry of being up to date with it, we are a bit more aware of these sort of nuances and things like that. So maybe it's like with a little bit more information from our side, we are now making those judgments again. But there'll be some people who will be, as I say, completely oblivious that anything's happened. They'll be playing their 4-2-3-1 Gegenpress. They'll have either had a lovely time or a bad time. And now we're sat there going, there's less rain, and they'll be going, I didn't even consider the rain.
I'm convinced that this is why that sort of, the constant myth that you hear, they've adapted to my tactics. The AI are learning my tactics. Is like, one, that isn't a thing. They can adjust the way they play based on your reputation, which does definitely affect things. But I wonder if that whole thing has come about just because a lot of people have been unaware of patches or whatever. It's just updated on the computer. They don't even notice it. And then they're like, why am I losing now? Or why am I winning now?
Yeah.
But in their head, because what else could have changed? They haven't changed anything. Nothing else has changed that they notice. So maybe they do just attribute that down to, like, I suppose it's in the same way if it rains back in the medieval times. We've angered the gods, so this is the same kind of thing. It's like they've learned my tactics, and I wonder if that's where that sort of myth came from.
Yeah. It could. It's possible. But I just remember, like, playing, is it EA FC 23, 24? And I just remember, like, playing clubs. So I'm not a FIFA player. And I don't know crossing. It's just like, at this time was OP. And I was like, I'm a winger. Makes sense to cross, right? I had the crossing playing style, whatever. So basically, a playing style just makes your crossing even better. And the same, like, if you have finesse shot, you could be good at finesse shot, have this playing style, you're even better at finesse shot. And I just remember, just like, I was really excited every night. Oh, clubs are coming on. I'm this fire winger who gets down the byline, whips it in. The game updates. I'm all smiling, get into the game, can't cross for shit. What the fuck's happening? I don't even want to play the rest of the night. Because now I'm not actually good at the game. What was making me good at the game is no longer there. And it's just like, okay, yeah, this is not that fun anymore for me, sort of thing. And then I just started playing less and less clubs. And I guess for some, it happened for me, like when I was playing Football Manager, right, at the start of the cycle, it was all like nice. I had the system. When the game updated, I just couldn't be bothered to put that effort in again to find a system that I like and stick with it. And it's just like, all right, it's not working. I tried the Como save. I haven't realistically played the game since, other than a couple of weeks ago when we played the Heart stuff. I haven't generally played the game.
I think that's where I got, like, when I said I went on a downward spiral with Darlington and just lost loads of games. And I was on stream and like my chat, they kind of knew that we weren't taking the stream seriously when I was busy Googling restaurants in London. Potentially I wasn't like fully invested in what was happening in the matches. One of my chat members had found something on a tube and it turned out it was a little chocolate. So I was like, I want to find where that's from. And so all these results were happening, and I just looked at this like list of defeats, and I just went, "Oh well." Just like I couldn't even be bothered to try and work out what had gone wrong. I was like, I'm not. If it happens, whatever. Like, who cares? Like, I'll load it back up again in a week or so and be like, and if I'm still losing, then yeah, it's the patch's fault probably.
Yeah. That was me. Even though I knew the game can't learn your tactics, that was always my excuse. But I had like a rough patch. I was like, they just learned the tactics, they learned the system.
Flying drones over the training ground.
To be honest, real managers should try that actually. Just like, oh, you've had a terrible run of form, and just shout, "Oh, the patch has updated it and it's changed everything." Like the opposition have learned my tactic.
Oh, that's literally quite Arsenal. Like we was doing certain things, and then it felt like when the new season comes, like, no, we're gonna change the rules. Now the goalkeeper has to kick it within a couple of seconds. It's just like, oh, for flip's sake, we've got to find a new way to perform dark arts.
Well, we're talking about long throws and set pieces. Arsenal just walked into the chat and they're just like, "Hello."
Literally, yeah. Even though just today we drew and Brentford with their long throw. And it's so weird because, like, we saw Brentford's goal, long throw routine, and the first thing from Arsenal fans in the group chat, "Oh, that was a good routine." So it's like, we're not even bothered. Like, now we can appreciate a good set piece routine.
That's what football's come to. I can't believe this. This is literally game has gone. Like, we're sitting there going, it's a good throwing routine there. No, what are we doing?
But you say that, like, it's so mad, and it's like, Arsenal ruined, blah, 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 blah. Generally, shit you not, just watch highlights from the Championship or whatever. Watch the Celtic. I watched the Celtic highlights. 3 goals. Where did all 3 goals come from? A set piece. The first goal was a long shot, but it was a second face from a corner. The second goal was a penalty. The third goal, it was a Chamberlain goal, but it was like, again, after a set piece has happened. And then when you watch the Championship, a lot of these goals, this is how it happens. And it's just like, okay. So I think teams are now just like, let's just maximize it. If there's always going to be a set piece in the game, just sort of maximize. The game does go when you are playing for a set piece. When you're running down the byline, you're thinking, rather than get the ball into the box, let me kick it off his leg until we get a corner. I was like, no, game's gone. Game's gone.
Speaking of games gone, and we'll pop a pin here and we'll jump into Patreon. So this is the end of this episode, because I think we've probably talked for quite a lot now. Games gone moment, Aaron, right? Under 8s football, okay? Eldest Jameson made his debut for his new club last week. I shit you not, the opposition at a free kick used a fucking draft excluder. Get to fuck.
I thought you were going to say he scored against his old club and didn't celebrate.
I thought you were going to say he done a header because you're not allowed to header at that age.
Yeah, no, he praised the heavens and everything. Like,
He's crossed himself on the way on the pitch.
So there's a stupid rule. Can I call it stupid? I can call it stupid. Yeah, I'm a coach. So there's a rule, right? When the ball goes off for a goal kick, the other team have to go back to the halfway line. Yeah. It's absolutely insane.
Why? So they don't gegenpress?
We don't know why.
Yeah, So give them a chance to sort of play out from the back.
It's so stupid because it's giving the opposite effect. If you're 6 and 7 year olds, what are they going to do? Run if they're at the halfway line, all they're doing is wait. The thing is though, like the moment the ball goes off, the kids run at the halfway line. As soon as the goalkeeper kicks it, what do you think they do? They just all go running in the pack, chasing the ball. It helps nothing. It's just so silly.
At least gives them a chance to get up to speed to run straight at the other player.
So
obviously they keep going.
They remove headers, so I'm guessing it's like, again, that's just pushing this, forcing this. You have to play a certain way, sort of thing, to develop your skills. But it doesn't really develop. I'm not sure how it's going to develop your skill if you're playing without the pressure in the first place. So you've taken away the pressure from the player that's going to have the ball.
Pressure
And
is for
another team-
tires.
Yeah, it's just it made no sense. It made no sense. And it's
Maybe
like
it just
us
gives them
coaches
that
on the
bit of
sideline,
time.
we're always telling people like, not all of you go, just one of you, or just two of you go. As soon as they kick the ball, all gone.
Yeah. Kids are great at following simple instructions, aren't they? Don't. Oh, they already have. Okay, that's fine.
To be fair to them, though, you have to be creative. So I used to tell them their positions, not like your left wing or whatever. I was like, this is your area, blah, 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 blah. And it never worked with them. 2 weeks ago, we won our first game. I started saying like, this is your house, and now I could be like, go back home, and then instantly like it's like they know their position straight away. So it's like something does work. You just have to be a little bit creative. But that halfway line thing, it triggers every coach as well. Every coach that you talk to, no one can make sense of it, and it's just like it's just silly. But the game's gone. The game's gone. And under 11s we was watching. A player done a header, foul to the opposition. You're just like, no, this can't be. This can't be. I guess I understand it, head injuries, whatever, but you're literally penalising someone for heading the ball, and it's just like, okay, game's gone.
There you go.
End of the show,
On that
guys.
note, if you would like to see more of this, Si, where can people
I
find
got it
more
wrong
of
last
this?
time, didn't I? Patreon.com/the FM Show pod. You will find a whole host of extra episodes, including our discussions about the whereabouts of S Club 7, or maybe some Football Manager talk, or what happened on the stag do's that we've been on in the past. All kinds of little extra nuggets of fun. So yeah, FM Show pod on Patreon. Come support us from as little as £3 a month. If you check your inbox, sometimes they send out sneaky 50% off vouchers, which I had one recently and I saw. I've also got some for people who don't even make content anymore. So I think it's Patreon who send those out rather than us. But yeah, keep your eye out for those as well. There's also a free trial. You can usually get a free trial for a couple of weeks and, binge some of the content. But there'll be new content every week, give or take. We're pretty good at getting something out 99% of the weeks, I would say, and we'll chuck out a couple extras at some time of the year as well. So yeah, patreon.com/the FM Show pod. You can also email us. Where can you email us? I'm going to throw it to someone else. Matt.
Old of you to assume that I ever knew the email. So let's try this out. Is it the FM Show pod @gmail.com?
Yeah,
That's the one. Yeah. Goodbye, the FM Show pod @live.co.uk.
If I could knee slide and not get carpet burn, I would right now.
a grimreaper.com. Did anyone used to have a grimreaper.com email address?
Yeah, guys, turn on the Patreon.
Save it for Patreon. Hey, Patreon, what's your email address? Yeah, come and join us for a chat about internet service providers. It's going to be good. I appreciate you all. Thank you very much. Hope you've enjoyed it. Let us know what you have enjoyed. And of course, just comment beep because we've heard Aaron's smoke alarm going off constantly.
Secret
again.
word beep if you made it to the end of the episode.
I mean, to be honest, literally, I watched last week's episode and within about 10 minutes, we already had beep written on. Like, don't wait till the end, just write beep.
Beep.
Yeah, appreciate you all.
Let's get it on a
Take
t-shirt.
care, and we'll see you on the Patreon, and we'll get some beep merch done. So, right, in a bit, everyone. Bye now.